Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Reasonable Wing in the Step Parents subreddit. The post is titled, "I don't want to have my stepkids at my honeymoon. I have been in a relationship with my fiance Tyler for the last 4 years. He has 2 children from a previous marriage, an 8.5-year-old boy and an 11-year-old girl. His wife passed away when his youngest was 1 year old. He met me 3 years later. His kids are wonderful and lovely and we get along great. We live together. I do everything for them since Tyler works long hours. They call me mom, but they are aware of who their biological mother is. We have her pictures in their rooms and Tyler talks about her to them all the time. We are planning our wedding. My father offered his condo in Hawaii to us so we can enjoy our honeymoon there. It was a very kind and generous offer. When I told Tyler, he was so grateful. Then he said, "I bet the kids will have a blast." I looked at him in disbelief and said, "The kids?" He said yes. I said, "That's our honeymoon. I don't want to be a mom on my honeymoon. We can go on plenty of family trips later, but this is our honeymoon." He said, "I was honest with you from day one. I told you I'm a package deal. You can't just choose me, not my kids." I told him I understood, but asked if they could stay with his mom for 1 week, just for our honeymoon. He got very frustrated and said he couldn't believe how insensitive and selfish I was being. Am I the asshole to expect a child-free honeymoon? Edit. Okay, I said I wouldn't reply because I was emotional. I went for a long bath. I'm better now. I was into him. I pursued him. I thought he was younger. He told me about his real age, his kids, and his late wife from the first moment. He even said he would understand if I said no. I loved him. I loved how honest, kind, and caring he was. Do I feel loved after giving him oral sex? Yes, I do. He has a higher sex drive, so I often provide oral when he wants sex. Yes, he kisses me every time afterward. He cuddles until we go to sleep. I take care of myself later. No, he never pulled his gun at me. He is not a violent man. Lately, we've had more quickies, mostly because I'm very tired, but I don't like to turn him down. We don't have alone time or date nights, true, but it doesn't mean he doesn't say he loves me or isn't affectionate. I decided to cancel everything. I don't think he's ready and we need to have a serious talk. I also need to know if he can still have children or if he had a vasectomy. Either way, we are not ready to be married. Update. Thank you very much for all the private messages and comments. I'm so glad I posted here. So many of you suspected that he had a vasectomy. Well, I decided to have a serious discussion with him about everything last night. He said he has never cheated on me and he never will. I asked him if he had a vasectomy and told him to just tell me. He didn't even deny it. He said, "Yes, but you have to understand. I lost my wife when my youngest was an infant. It was such a traumatic time for me. I wanted to make sure I would never go through it again." I started crying. I asked him how he could lie to me all these years. He didn't even feel bad. He said, "Well, you never asked. You ask now, and I told you. Plus, what's the big deal? I have frozen sperm at the clinic and it's a reversible procedure." I was floored. "You saw me taking pills, yet you didn't mention it?" He said, "Well, I thought you were taking pills because you have heavy periods." I couldn't believe this man still blamed me when he was the one lying to my face. I told him how unhappy I am, how burnt out I am, and how he uses his work hours so he can dump the responsibilities on me. I don't even feel loved anymore. I gave him his ring back and told him I was done. He was shocked. At first he thought I was kidding. Then he saw me packing my clothes at 11 p.m. So he started arguing that I should just wait a little longer. By December, he will know about his job, and after that, we will go to a fertility clinic and you will have your stupid baby. Then he started guilt tripping me, saying things like, his kids have already been traumatized once. How could you be so selfish and leave them? I didn't even bother answering. I left for my parents' place. He has been begging and saying he will change, he will be more involved, and asking me to come back. I'm mentally exhausted. I couldn't believe I've been so stupid. I'm going to start finding a place for myself near my work. Thank you. Update 2. I left my ex because he was lying to me and treating me poorly, as I mentioned in another post. We were together for 4 years and I did everything for his 2 children. I went back to pack my belongings and his daughter said her dad told her that I left because I couldn't stand them anymore and that he chose them over me. I was floored. I asked my ex and he in front of the children said that he was just telling them the truth. He said, "You wanted a baby because my kids were too much for you. You hated my kids. Remember, you even wanted to exclude them from our trip. He meant our honeymoon. He wanted to bring his kids to our honeymoon, which was unbelievable. I told the kids that wasn't true and tried to explain, but both children cried and went to their rooms. My ex screamed, "Happy now? Get out of my house." I know I shouldn't care, but after 4 years of doing everything for them, this is what I get. I'm so mad at him and my stepchildren. Man Woodlover said, "The guy is upset that he lost his babysitter. He's beyond repulsive and I feel sorry for his kids." To this user, why are people said, "Yes, such a terrible father using his children for emotional blackmail and giving them abandonment issues in the process." Digital Girly said, "This dude is a punk ass bitch and OP dodged a huge bullet." Unintentional Wipe said, "I'm honestly glad he has had a vasectomy because he sounds like the type to try to trap her into staying by having another child. And considering he referred to a child as a stupid baby, that says it all. Thankfully, she is young and will grow from this experience. I feel bad for her and the children, but the children will learn just how useless their dad is as they grow up." The second post was made in the AITAH subreddit by a user named Parking Breadfruit. The story is titled, "I refuse to have my dad in my life after he chose his new family. When I was 13, my dad had an affair and left my mom to move in with his affair partner, whom I'll call Janet. At first, my sister and I would visit every weekend. I'll admit he was a good dad, although I never liked Janet. When Janet got pregnant and had their son, our visits became less frequent, and my dad became more concerned with his new family. He would miss some of my recitals or my sister's competitions because he was busy with his son. When I was 16, Janet decided she wanted to move for a new job opportunity. My sister and I begged him not to leave us, but he just said, 'I need to prioritize my family.' He moved 10 hours away. That pretty much ended our relationship, and I decided to go no contact, as it was clear he did not consider me family. My younger sister stayed in contact with him. He would try to call me and offer for me to visit with my sister, but I refused. When he came back to see my sister, I would refuse to speak to him when he turned up at the house. I didn't invite him to my high school or college graduation. I'm now 33 and have remained no contact with him. Over the years, he has repeatedly tried contacting me and getting his family to contact me on his behalf to reconcile. I have avoided family events in case he attended, including my sister's wedding and baby showers. My dad and his family moved back to our hometown 3 months ago, and he has been relentless in trying to reconcile. I have received messages from my half-brother and half-sister wanting a relationship, saying he's a great dad. My dad found out I'm getting married and keeps trying to contact me, even attempting to speak to my fiance. Janet messaged me saying I have broken my dad's heart repeatedly, that I'm pathetic and should get therapy. I replied that she was nothing but a home-wrecking whore and then blocked her. Everyone seems to want me to let him back into my life. I'm sick of all the harassment and accidentally bumping into my dad and his family in town. Whenever I see him, I just walk away and refuse to speak to them. Everyone is saying he's a good dad who tried his best to remain in contact, but I pushed him away. Everyone is pressuring me. My mom, sister, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and even some friends. My fiance has even started saying I'm the asshole for shutting him out. It's all starting to get to me. So am I the asshole? Update. Thank you for all the comments, although most seem to say I'm not the asshole. Some said I was. Some of you gave helpful suggestions which I am planning to take on board. I have just spoken to my fiance and unfortunately it has not gone well. At this point I've had enough and want to run away and never come back. My fiance knows my history with my dad and Janet. I explained to him that his siding with my father and pressuring me was hurting me, and as my fiance, he should be supporting me. My fiance, whom I'll call Larry, told me he can't support me in doing something he knows is wrong. Larry told me that he had spoken to my father and had an understanding of both sides of the story and believes that if we both sit down and talk, we can sort this out and reconcile. I told Larry I don't want this and want no contact, and I asked why he is even speaking to my father. Larry admitted that his father, who is friends with my dad, encouraged him to speak to him and hear him out. Larry told me my dad loves me very much and always wanted to be in my life and has pictures of me. Larry said my dad is heartbroken at the state of our relationship because I was being unreasonable about him moving away when I was young. Larry stated that I got off on the wrong foot with Janet and that I was not innocent in the breakdown of the relationship. He told me that everyone can see the truth but me and that I should look in the mirror because I'm the problem. Needless to say, I broke down crying and asked him why he was doing this to me and not supporting me. Larry claims to love me but won't stand by and watch me be a heartless bitch. After he said this, I stood up, told him that he shouldn't marry a heartless bitch, and walked out. I'm currently sitting in my car. My phone is blowing up with Larry trying to contact me, but I don't want to speak to him. I feel like I'm losing everything and everyone. I don't understand what is happening. Update 2. Hi everyone, thank you for the comments and for letting me share my thoughts with you. I desperately need an outside perspective. I know a lot of you are telling me to cut all contact with my family and leave town. That is not an option for me financially, and I would not be able to set up my business elsewhere. All my money is invested in it, and I have only recently managed to establish a steady income. Relocating is not an option for me. I love my friends and family, and I don't want to cut everyone off. I love my hometown, I grew up here, and this is my life. I'm not willing to walk away from it. I didn't expect to write another update this fast, but a lot has happened today. Firstly, I agreed to meet my dad to talk and try to get him to back off and leave me alone. I asked my mom to arrange it, just him, no one else. I wasn't sure if he would agree to that, but within 15 minutes of her calling, he was at the door. I asked my mom to stay and mediate. To summarize the conversation, I asked him to give me space and stop trying to get everyone on his side, letting me live my life. I told him he stopped being my father when he moved 10 hours away. I told him Janet was mean to me and shared all the horrible things she has said to me over the years. I hate how he chose Janet and his new family over me and how he told me he had to prioritize them, basically telling me I wasn't family. He was an awful person for withholding my college fund and trying to blackmail me and then spending it on his new family. I hate how I have missed major family events because he attended them and would make them awkward. I don't see his son and daughter as my family, and I'm sick of them trying to speak to me and approach me. He keeps making scenes every time he sees me and making me look like the bad guy. He keeps inserting himself into my life, going to my fiance's family events, and going behind my back to talk and sway Larry to his side. I hate how he cheated on my mom and broke our family up, and then listened to Janet, who stopped our visits, missed my recitals, reduced contact, and was more concerned about his son. He loves me and always has. He is never going to give up trying to reconnect and has given me enough space over the years. He is done hearing about my life from secondhand knowledge and is not willing to miss anymore. He loves Janet and he can't regret his past because he wouldn't have her or his 2 kids. He wishes he had done it differently and ended his marriage with my mom first. His kids are innocent and I shouldn't be taking it out on them. They just want to know their big sister. I was a difficult child who was rude and disrespectful to Janet, breaking her belongings and calling her names, ruining day outs. When Janet got pregnant, she was high risk, and my coming every week and starting arguments was stressing her out. For her and his son's sake, he stopped the weekend visitation. He still spoke to us on the phone and took us out for dinner and days out, but just didn't let us sleep over. When his son was born, he was premature and had health complications, which meant he stayed in the hospital for weeks and had frequent hospital admissions. Janet was also going through postpartum depression, so he wasn't able to see us as much and had to miss some events when he was taking care of Janet and his son. Janet was unable to get a job locally, and the opportunity was too good to pass up, so they had to move. He pointed out that he came back to town for weekends as much as he could to see us and would always invite us to fly out and spend vacations with him. He phoned every day, but I refused to speak or see him. They had flown in for my graduation, but I refused to invite him, and he lost his temper and refused to give me my college fund. He apologized for this and tried to fix it a few weeks later by offering me the money, but I refused it. He still has the money and I can have it if I ask. He had visited me at my college to try and talk to me, but I refused to see him. He is not going to miss family events. He makes a scene because he misses me and just wants to talk to me and reconcile. But I always end up running away or shouting insults at him and Janet. He has been trying for 16 years to reconnect, but I shut him down at every turn. He just wants to be my dad. He is old friends with my fiance's dad and hoped my fiance could talk some sense into me and open a line of communication. He feels I never gave Janet a chance, no matter how she tried in the beginning, and hoped we could be civil. Janet hates knowing I talk badly about her, am mean to her children, and won't speak to him. What he wants. My dad is in therapy and wants me to join him for family sessions. He wants me to spend time with him one-on-one, to stop being rude and mean to his children and to spend time with them. He wants me to stop trash-talking Janet to everyone and actually give her a chance. He wants an invitation for him and my family to my wedding and to walk me down the aisle. What I want. For him to stop talking to my friends and getting others to try and talk to me on his behalf. To keep Janet away from me completely, to be civil at events or in town, providing he does not try to hug me or talk to me. My mom told him he was being unrealistic with some of the things he wants, especially regarding Janet and his other children, so we have agreed for now. I will attend 3 therapy sessions with him when he arranges it. He will stop trying to interfere in my life and relationships. He will keep Janet away from me and talk to his kids to give me space. I will be civil to him in public as long as he respects my personal space and does not approach or pressure me. As for my fiance, I still haven't spoken to him. He turned up at my mom's, but she refused to let him in. He keeps blowing up my phone, and so does his family and friends, telling me to hear him out. During my conversation with my dad, I found out that he has paid for most of the vendors and services for my upcoming wedding, and they have been on speaking terms for quite some time. Larry told me his family had paid for these, and I believed him. I feel betrayed by him, and I don't feel like I can trust him. I'm going to have to speak to him eventually, but I don't feel ready. Update 3. Firstly, I'd like to apologize for taking down my posts. I was really upset and felt under a lot of pressure, and I needed space to think without constant messages. Some of you were trying to be helpful, and I appreciate that, but some of the abusive messages I received were terrible. I'm updating for those who have asked for an update and were supportive of me. This will be my last post, and I won't be posting again. Firstly, the deal with my dad is off the table. He couldn't even manage a week without overstepping my boundaries, so there will be no therapy sessions with him, and I will remain no contact. As you are all aware, after speaking to my dad and agreeing on a way forward with my conditions, keep Janet away from me. Tell his kids to back off. Don't pressure me or invade my space. It lasted all of 3 days. Everyone seemed happy that I had forgiven my dad and told me so. My sister was excited that I was willing to give him a chance, and with some pressure, I agreed to have dinner with just her and my dad. When my sister and I arrived at the restaurant to meet our dad, he was not alone. He had invited Janet, my grandparents, his son, and daughter. He got up and tried to hug me. I immediately became upset, asking why they were there. My dad told me that if we have any hope of repairing our relationship, I had to accept Janet and my younger siblings. I told him he had just broken our deal and to never contact me again, and I tried to leave. He refused to let me leave and grabbed hold of me. When I say all hell broke loose, I mean it. I started shouting at them. My dad, Janet, and grandparents tried to gaslight me and convince me to sit down. When that didn't work, things got very heated and a shouting match started. A lot of unforgivable things were said by my dad and Janet, including remarks about my appearance and calling me a psychopath. My half-brother walked out of the restaurant, and my half-sister started to cry. My sister actually surprised me and defended me, shouting at my dad for ruining things after all this time when I had finally given him a chance. She even slapped Janet. She got me out of there and apologized to me. I think this was the first time she had really seen how Janet was with me and how she treated me. She kept saying she couldn't understand how my dad had spent years saying he would do anything to have me back, and then would do this when he finally got his chance to rebuild the relationship. My dad has been trying to contact me, but I have blocked him and refused to talk to him. I have also refused to speak to my grandparents. My dad has tried to convince my mom and sister to speak to me, but I think he's burned his bridges with them. The incident from the restaurant has spread, and some people seem to be backing off. Like I said, what my dad and Janet shouted at me was unforgivable, and they were overheard. This is a small town, so hopefully people will back off, and those who won't, I'm going to have to cut them out. My sister is very unhappy with my dad and Janet and is not speaking to them. She is blaming them for me going no contact again. My sister is not letting them see her kids. I don't know if my sister will reconcile, but right now she is furious. My mom is also furious and apparently had a few choice words with my dad and Janet and has promised she will never pressure me again to speak to him. I am going to go to individual therapy. I think I definitely need it. I do feel bad about my half-siblings as they haven't done anything wrong, and I may be open to having a distance kind of relationship with them in the future, but I'm not ready yet, or if I'll ever be. I did send them a message on Facebook to apologize and tell them they've done nothing wrong. Lastly, to update you all, regarding my fiance, I spoke to him yesterday about everything. I had been radio silent since walking out on him. Basically, he was pressured by his father to speak to my dad and was fed a sob story of a misunderstood father desperately wanting to be in his daughter's life. Larry had become annoyed with me for refusing to attend his family events and walking out of his mother's birthday party when I realized that my dad and Janet were there, as he was getting pressure from his family about me ruining their events. He just wanted everyone to be happy and get along, clearly at my expense. Larry admitted my dad had paid for some of the vendors for the wedding, but he did not know this until after it was already paid. His father had told Larry that he and his mom had paid. My dad had told Larry it was a gift and his way of contributing. Larry admitted my dad had asked him to speak to me on his behalf. I told Larry he had betrayed my trust and I couldn't see myself marrying someone who does not support me. He broke down crying and apologizing to me and promising to never do it again. Larry was heartbroken and begged for a second chance. To those of you who wanted me to break up with him, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but we are going to try and work through this. Apart from this issue, he had been the best partner, and I genuinely think he was manipulated by his family and my dad. Larry has promised to stand up to his family and go no contact with my dad. I'm still living at my mom's as I still need some space, which I won't have if I move home. We are going to contact our wedding vendors and see what our options are next week. Larry is begging for a postponement rather than canceling it altogether. We may still break up as actions speak louder than words, and I need to see if he can rebuild what we had and show me I can trust and depend on him. Update 4. Hi everyone, I thought I would give you an update on what's been happening over the last couple of weeks for those of you who are still interested. Firstly, I'm still living at my mom's and I've gotten a little kitten. I've named her Sasha and she is the sweetest thing but very energetic. For those of you asking for pictures, I'll try, but she refuses to stay still long enough to get a photo that isn't blurred. I love her already. My mom continues to be my rock. I'm still waiting for therapy, but I found Reddit useful and therapeutic. The support I've received from most of the people here has been great and has helped me see things more clearly, so a big thank you to everyone. As for my ex, now that we've broken up, I feel lighter and freer. Being away from him has made me see all the red flags that I was blind to in our relationship, and I feel like I've dodged a bullet. Luke is not taking the breakup well and has taken over from my father, constantly bothering me. If you read this, Luke, we are done and I'm not changing my mind. So stop calling me, stop coming to the house, and stop sending me flowers. I'm moving on, so you should too. My sister Emma is still firmly on my side and has washed her hands of Janet. They are not on speaking terms after my sister told everyone about Janet's affairs. Janet is still trying to save face, saying my sister is lying and telling everyone she can how we are just the worst and that we have treated her terribly over the years, trying to ruin her marriage. I don't think anyone is buying what she is saying. She has sent abusive messages to me and my sister, and when we've bumped into her, she's been screaming at us and threatening us. My sister's car had been keyed and my store windows were smashed. We can't prove it's her, unfortunately, but she is the most likely culprit. My half-siblings are definitely my dad's children. They were tested years ago when she was a baby. From what I've heard, they're not speaking to Janet at all. As for my dad, he seems to have grown a spine and has kicked Janet out. She is now living with her parents. From what I've heard, he's thinking about divorce. I haven't had any contact with my dad except for a text saying he was sorry for everything. As for getting a restraining order, I'm more concerned about getting one against Janet at the moment. Update 5. Hi everyone, it's been a while and some of you have asked for an update. Firstly, my dad and Janet are still together. They broke up for a while, but now they are back together and showing a united front, even though she is a cheater. Apparently, they tried again for the sake of their children. Weirdly enough, my dad and I are in a better place. We occasionally text and are cordial when we see each other, but he has stopped pushing so hard for a relationship and is respecting my space. We can now be in the same place and room without a scene, and we have had the occasional coffee together, which, to be fair, is all I ever wanted. He even gave me my college fund with no strings attached. My step-siblings and I have started talking, and we follow each other on social media. My stepsister sometimes comes to my business and helps out. I realized that they were not at fault and I was being unfair to them. They are still upset with their mom, but they are stuck living with her. From what I can gather, they are giving her the silent treatment. As for Janet, I still dislike her, but at least she is staying out of my business. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a restraining order against her due to a lack of evidence. I avoid her and won't speak to her, and I think my dad has warned her. My sister is speaking to our dad again, but despises Janet and refuses to have anything to do with her. She is going out of her way to exclude her from everything she possibly can. My sister and I have become much closer. As for Larry, we are not back together and never will be. He has not fully accepted this, but things have calmed down and I'm not being harassed as much. He still wants to get back together, but I'm not interested. He, his friends, and family will eventually accept this. He thinks that because things are better with my dad and me now, I'll soften and forgive him too, but I just can't trust him. As for me, I started therapy and am working through my issues. I've realized that the relationship with my dad wasn't purely his fault, and I share some blame in this. I've spent my life acting like he abandoned me when I pushed him away as well. My business is doing well, and I'm just focusing on myself. Thank you for all your support. Korodic said, "You have to love how my dad and Janet got back together for the sake of their kids. Meanwhile, their kids are upset with their mom, feel like they're stuck living with her, and are giving her the silent treatment. So they're doing it for the kids, but the kids absolutely don't want anything to do with it. That really makes you wonder if they're actually doing it for the kids. Though I guess they'd also be stuck with their mother even if the two hadn't gotten back together." Simple Pigeon said, "I don't understand how people don't accept that they've been broken up with. What exactly is the plan to force a relationship with someone who vocally and obviously does not want to be with you? What is the end game? To have them tied up on the couch while you play house?" Norman Yeats said, "The biggest thing that pisses me off beyond anything is when people can't keep their word. The dad had to do one thing. No, actually, he had to not do one single thing. Push her. The first thing he does when she finally agrees to meet him is push her. Like, people just don't get that the thing that destroys trust is not when you do something, it's when you promise not to do it and then do it. Keep your word or don't promise it if you can't do it. You absolute idiots." Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersubs. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.